Welcome, first graders. We are now ready for step 2. So we really worked hard on adding our lines last class, and we filled our paper with those lines. Now what we need to do is we need to find something in our house that is this shape, okay? So you're probably all right by saying circle. So we need something that's a circle. And you're going to need something that has a big circle, and then later on in this project, you're going to need to find something that is a smaller circle, okay? We don't want something so small like the cap of a water bottle, right? This is a jar. This lid's a good size for a smaller circle. And then this is a really nice shape for a larger circle. So you can either do your smaller one or your larger one. I like to start with the bigger one because I know that it's going to take up a really big spot on my paper, okay? And I like to know where that's going to be. So I'm going to start with this larger one, and I hope that you do as well. Again, eventually we're going to have 2 different circles on here. We are only for this step going to focus on one. So I'm going to take my big circle tracer. This is just a lid from, I think, some pretzels. And I'm going to put it on my paper. Now, if I put it in the middle, I might not have enough room for a second circle to fit on the paper. As you can see, this goes off the paper over on the side. If I slide it more to the corner, I will have enough room for another circle to fit. Okay, so if you got a big circle, make sure that your smaller circle for the next step is going to fit. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to keep my circle over into this corner here. Okay, and we want it to fit. There needs to be some paper on all of the sides of it. Okay, we don't want to have it off the paper. So I have it on with some paper on this side, some paper on this side, and then we see all the paper over here. I'm going to hold it down in the middle, okay, and I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to trace that circle. All right. Now, what I want you to do is carefully, if you have a washable marker, black marker, you can use that. You could use your black crayon. I have a permanent marker. Now, if you use a permanent marker, I want you to ask mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever is working with you right now, the adult where you are working, that if you use a permanent marker, you want to make sure that you have something underneath it, and you want to make sure that they have given you permission to use it, okay? Otherwise, a washable marker works just fine. So you're going to trace it with pencil, and then you are going to go over it with that marker. Okay. Now I started going over it. I'm turning my paper. I'm going to go back and try to trace it. Sometimes I'm turning the paper as I go. And you'll notice my black line is a lot thicker than my other lines. Right? I want it to really stand out. I want everyone to know that that's there for a reason, right? And it's going to remind you for the next step. So that is the first thing you have to do. Then you are going to find a red, a blue, and a yellow. Right? So if you want to pause this video right now and go and get a red, a blue, and a yellow, that would be great. And then unpause it and we will find out what we're doing with it. So go get those. Okay, so now that we have our red, our blue, and our yellow, we are going to only use these 3 colors inside of our circle. We are not going to color anywhere out here with these 3 colors. Okay. Another thing that we need to talk about is the lines. Okay. I want you to think of the lines inside of this circle as walls. All right. we can't, as humans, walk through walls. And I don't want you to color from this section right here. I don't want you to go through this wall or this line and color into this section. So we want to try to keep it into whatever black border section we're coloring in. Right? So if that's confusing, please watch. So I'm going to color this section right here red. And I'm going to start by outlining that section. So what does outlining mean? It means that I'm going around that black line that I can't go through, okay? Pretend that it's a wall, a big cement wall. I can't go past that line. So I'm going to color along the edge of it, giving me a border, okay? This is going to tell me right where this section is. It's going to show me how big this section is, and I really like that information before I start to color. Okay, so now we can see this is the section I am going to color red. Okay, so now I am going to do that. When I color, I like to color all in the same direction. You can try it. It might be hard right now, but when I color, I don't go really long lines. I tend to do smaller back and forth. And the smaller your lines back and forth, the more control you have. If you go really fast, you're probably going to go outside of the lines. And that's usually what we do when we're younger. So as you get older, slowing down, having more control with your hands is something that's going to come with practice. And so smaller back and forth, more control. And I really like the border too, because it's kind of like a little reminder to slow down. You're getting close to your border, your edge. Okay. Okay. Now I am done with red. And so I don't want to put red right next to any of my red sections. So if I colored this section with red, it might look like there isn't a black line there anymore. Okay, but what I could do is I could color this section. So I'm going to outline this section, and it's really small, so by outlining it, I've almost already colored it in. Okay, now this section touches this section, this section, this section, and this section, and it kind of does this one. But now I'm going to go over here and color this section red, because it only touches in one little point, and I'll show you where that point is, right here. Okay, so that's far enough away. So I've outlined it. Now I'm going to color it in. And again, I'm going kind of fast. I don't want you to go this fast. It's for the sake of you watching what I'm doing. Okay. And so I've colored in a couple sections. Now I'm going to grab another color. And so now I'm going to grab yellow. And I'm going to outline this section now. I picked this section because it has red on either end. Okay, so I've outlined it. Now I can color it in. And in kindergarten, we talked a lot about the primary colors, so red, blue, and yellow. And we're starting this year by talking about them as well. So that is why we are starting with red, blue, and yellow. Now I picked this section to color in because it wasn't right next to the yellow that I just did. So I wouldn't want to do this section because they touch on a long line. But I can do this one because it's far enough away. Okay. And I could do this section here. And my only other color is blue. So if I do blue here, I can't do blue here also. And because this doesn't touch this section, I'm going to color this section over here too. Okay. And then I might do do this big section here. Again, do not go as fast as I am going, but you'll notice how I outline and then how I fill in the inside. All right, now I'm going to go to blue, and we'll talk about all the other sections when I'm done with that. That will come back and maybe color some in red and some yellow. So this one has red here and yellow here, so we're going to start by outlining it with the blue, and then we'll color that in. Okay. We have blue. I'll do this one with blue. And I'll do this one with blue. Do this one blue. So before I start a color, I'm kind of looking at the spots around it. So if it's blue here, I can't do blue here because then they would touch. And I can't do red, but I'll be able to color that in with yellow. And then it doesn't touch enough here, so I'm going to do blue there too. Okay, it could also be red, but I'm going to do blue. All right, and we'll do this one blue too. And the reason I did this one blue is that I couldn't do red because they touch here, and I couldn't do yellow because they touch here. Now, let's say you make a mistake, and I do this one blue. Okay, it's not the end of the world. You didn't totally mess up. Okay. We just want to try not to do it where they both share a line. Okay, so I'm going to come in here now and do this one red because they only touch in the corners. And I got a little itty bitty yellow triangle there, a little line there, and then we are done. So you will notice this whole circle is primary colors. So red, blue, and yellow. Nothing's colored out here. We want to try to just keep all of our color just in that circle. So that is step one of adding colors, step 2 in the project. Good luck.